I am Morroco Omari. This is Nairobi News. Mambo.
From
I wasn't given that information. But in the week we've been watching them, the only ones.
You know, I haven't been to Mombasa since 2006. So my first time to Nairobi was last year. And this is my second time here. So I can't say what has changed. The people are still beautiful and warm. It's still always feeds my spirit. It's always refreshing to come to the continent, to come to the motherland. And every country I go to, you know, helps me, and I learn something culturally, and I learn something different. And I take that with me, and I walk with it when I'm back in America. Well, I grew up on the west side of Chicago, and it was rough. It was, gangs. It was drug dealers, drug addicts. It was pimps, prostitutes, blue collar workers, of course. There were homeowners, but you had to survive. It was survival. We didn't have the opportunities. And as a kid growing up, you didn't know that, why this is bad. This is just life. This is just your reality. So I got in my share of fights. Police came to our house to arrest my uncle. They've kicked down the doors. I've watched men shoot up heroin or overdose on heroin. So as a young kid, I learned, I saw a lot of things that I shouldn't have seen early on in life. So when you don't have what we deem as successful people who are engineers, doctors, lawyers, those are people that you don't get to see. Those are people you don't get to touch. Those are people that don't come back and mentor us. So we have to figure it out ourselves. So I had to figure out a lot of things myself. Luckily, my mom sent me to stay with my dad during my high school years. You guys call it secondary, right? Secondary school. So I got to see a different side of life, and I went to college and ended up in the Marine Corps, dropping out of school and going to the military. Oh man, in the Marine Corps we have a never say die attitude. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. So it instilled a lot of discipline. I went in as a teenage boy and I came out as a man. You have to adapt and overcome a lot of things. You're running 3-5 miles a day. You're hiking 20 miles with packs on your back. You're learning this discipline, and it gave me what I needed. Now fighting a war, I don't need that, but the discipline part of it, and believing in yourself and getting more confidence, and just it helped a lot. And I apply that to life still. I apply that to my craft, my trade. I never wanted to shoot a gun again. Never wanted to shoot a weapon. Never wanted to be, become a police officer or work as a prison guard. I almost became a fireman. But I was like, this isn't. I was doing that, going through the training or taking all the tests and exams because I was like, I need to make money. And it was good money. I majored in business. I went back to school, majored in business, but I had one acting class. All these business classes and this one acting classes. And I always look forward to this acting class. Really, business class, I was in there like, oh my God. Ooh, my dad's an accountant, it's boring trying to keep track of somebody else's money and numbers. And acting, I got to be creative, and I had to be, and I was like, okay. So I took more classes outside the university, and I got cast in my first play. And it was like, whoa. And you have that light bulb moment, like, wait. And I look back at my life and was like, wait a minute. I always watched, the people in my family or people who came into the house, the drug dealers, and all that. See, I'm not used to the flies. I'm fighting them like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all be like, hey, it's a fly on my head, so I'm not used to it. I'm like, get off me. But I was always a storyteller. I was always able to imitate the people who came in and out of my life. And I was always doing school plays as a kid. And I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. So being on that stage as an adult, and making, getting paid for it, I was like, whoa, this is the kind of feeling I felt on the football field or the adrenaline on the battlefield. Yeah. Now I'm on the theater stage and I'm like, whoa, and I can get all that aggression and all that anger that I had or whatever. I can work it out on stage and I can be creative with it. I can turn negative energy into positive energy. I can just find those moments and make people laugh or cry or angry or, scare them if I wanted to, So I went hard with it. I used all that military discipline and put it towards the creative process and said, and I just had this tunnel vision of this is what I'm going to do. So I worked security from 6 a.m., got off work at 3 p.m., I'm sorry, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Went to the gym probably from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. and was taking an acting class from like 7 to 10. Or I was in rehearsals from 6 to 10. Yeah. But it would be like my day would start at 6 a.m. and would end at, 10, 11 at night. And I did that for 5 years. Until I was able to survive as an actor, until I was able to quit that job, so that discipline. I stopped going out to parties. I couldn't party as much, but I just said, this is what I want. This is the goal, and how do I get to it?
When I was a kid, I was throwing a football with my best friend in front of the apartment building. Police officer jumps the curb, gets out, pulls out his gun and says, freeze. I was 9.
What have I learned and what have I shared with others? That there is no shortcut to success. A lot of people wake up and say, oh, I want to be an actor and don't understand what it takes to be an actor. Hard work pays off. You might think, oh, I'm going to move to LA and I'm going to book a movie and be a star. It doesn't happen like that. Not for us. For some, but not for us. There's a few incidences where Mekhi Phifer went to an open call for Spike Lee and he booked the role and his career started. So there are a few instances where that happens, but 99% of the time it doesn't. So I had to learn this craft. I had to be good. I had to get grimy. I couldn't, you couldn't say, oh, I'm gonna play the cool dude all the time. I had to, like they say, take the shape of water. You pour water in a cup, you become the cup. Pour it in a bowl, you become the bowl. You have to take that shape, and learn this craft. So hard work, man. And don't take it personally. See, I'm still fighting flies, man. I'm still fighting them. I'm still fighting these flies, yo. See? That fly don't like me.
She goes to meet him to see if her intuition is correct. You okay? Did I scare you?
No, good to see you.
Don't lie. Like you seen a ghost.
The beautiful thing is my family and my friends and people knew that it was BS.
Empire star gets arrested.
But that doesn't stop. I have 2 daughters. One of my daughters is older. And, to your daughters, you're Superman. Yeah. So that to affect her in that way, and we shielded it from my youngest daughter who just turned 9 as much as we could. And my mom, and they knew me, but still, it's just like people that don't know you on social media, like, oh, well, he looks like that character. He does, to tabloids and crazy stuff like that. And then I think we shielded my daughter, because I went to trial on this, because I was like, I'm fighting this. I'm not, they wanted money. They wanted, I was like, nah, we're going to trial. And my youngest, she's so proud of me. She wanted to do an expose on her dad in school. She went online, typed in my name, and that came up. And she burst out in tears. She came home to her mom, in tears and had all these questions. Well, did daddy beat you? Did daddy do this? Da da da. You know, she's a kid. She had just turned 8 at the time. And I had to sit and have a conversation with this beautiful, innocent bundle of love who's looking at me now suspiciously. And I had to tell her what happened and what didn't happen. And then I gave her my word. I said, I promise you, I will clear our name. And I went to trial and I wore them damn lawyers out, man. I was sitting up there like, boom, bang, bang, come on. And the jury, not guilty. One of the stories, I remember coming on, I think it was my last day of shooting. And I come and I see all these like teenagers around the monitor. And he's sitting there and we're shooting. And then they yell, cut. And he wasn't in the scene. He's like, and he's explaining the scene to them. He's mentoring these local kids from Philly. Yeah. And I was like, man, that's great. That's what you're supposed to do. Because they don't, like I say, we don't see this. And I was like, man, so I give that brother all the respect in the world. I had a moment, I think this was we were shooting, it was Chadwick Boseman, who played Black Panther, J.K. Simmons, who won the Oscar for this movie, Whiplash, Sienna Miller, and Keith David, this veteran actor who just been in everything. And he has this voice, Keith David, and he does the voice of UPS and BMW and Go Navy. You know, he was the bad guy in the Princess Frog or something like that. Yeah, and I'm standing there and I'm like looking at all these guys and I'm like outer body experience, like, yo, look who you sharing the scene with. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. All right, let's go. Let's man up. Let's give it, you know? And because you can't be like, oh, okay, I'm in this. You just like, you take that moment and say, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. Let's get to work. Now let me go at you. Now I'm coming at, you know, at the cut, you're like, oh, but action, oh yeah, we about to sit down. You know, let's eat. Who gonna eat? Let's go. Let's get down. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it was great to have scenes with that brother, and all the people involved, and the director Brian Kirk, who's from Game of Thrones and Luther, a lot of shows that I like watching. So it was great, man. It was like, whoa, I can't wait for it to come out. Hopefully I'm good. Yeah, in July. Hopefully I don't suck in this movie. Yeah, that's this summer. And yeah, it's a huge blockbuster movie, man. And I think this is his first movie after Black Panther. So yeah. So it's a cop drama. So it should be fun.
I wasn't given that information. But in the week we've been watching them, the only ones.
Mambo, Kenya. That's all I got, brother. Asante Sana, thank you for having me. You know, thank you for welcoming me to your country and showing me love. And I will continue to come back. I do have 39 more countries to see. But, you know, East Africa, it's like home, man. So big up to Kenya, you know, and keep your head high, you know, keep being beautiful.